Hi there, it's Natalie, your wellness consultant, and welcome to another episode of Wellness with Wisdom. Today we're going to start a walk through the wonderful world of superfoods. I'm sure you've heard the word used in various marketing campaigns related to natural health products. We're going to learn what this popular descriptor really means and how you can impact your health in a positive way by incorporating these superfoods into your daily diet. This is a massive grouping of possibilities, so we're going to bite off as much as we can chew, one remedy at a time. I'm going to focus on a superfood called Seamoss for this broadcast. Now don't worry, we'll be covering several more in the coming weeks. Now before we dive in, here is my friendly reminder. The information we provide is not intended to be a substitute for medical treatment. Please consult your medical care provider before using herbal medicine, particularly if you have a known medical condition or if you are pregnant or nursing. If you are worried about any health condition, it is always advisable to have a face-to-face consultation with a qualified healthcare practitioner in order to obtain a diagnosis and treatment advice. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty about Cmos, let's talk a little bit about that word. What is a superfood? So superfoods are foods mostly plant-based, but also some fish and dairy, and that are thought to be nutritionally dense and thus good for one's health. Superfoods contain a variety of nutrients such as antioxidants, which are thought to ward off cancer. They also have healthy fats, which are thought to prevent heart disease, fiber that's thought to prevent diabetes and digestive problems, and phytochemicals. So those are the chemicals in plants responsible for those lovely deep colors and those fantastic smells. And those phytochemicals can have numerous health benefits. Now, Seamoss, let me give you the Latin or botanical name. It's called Chondrus crispus. It's commonly called sea moss or Irish moss or Carrageenan moss, and it grows abundantly along the rocky parts of the Atlantic coast of Europe and North America, as well as into the Caribbean. This type of seaweed grows year-round in tidal pools and inlets. And the sea moss is commonly harvested to extract carrageenan, and that's the gelatinous carbohydrate that's found inside sea moss, which is used in baked goods and even in cosmetics. But sea moss, of course, can also be eaten on its own, and it's often used as a thickening agent for soups or stews. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a brief nutritional breakdown. Now, this nutritional breakdown is based on a 20-gram serving, which is 4 tablespoons of the raw Irish sea moss. Now, normally I'm going to suggest that you stick to 2 tablespoons per serving, so you kind of want to just think of everything in halves here. So in 4 tablespoons, you're getting 10 calories. Your protein is 0.5 grams. There's no fats. Your carbs are 3 grams. The fiber is 0.5 grams. There's no sugar. You have a little bit of calcium, about 1% of your daily value. The iron's a bit higher. It's at 10% of the daily value. Magnesium's at 7%. Phosphorus is at 2% of your daily value. Zinc is at 4% of your daily value. And copper is at 3% of your daily value. And daily value is essentially how much of you need of those particular minerals that I just mentioned in order to remain generally healthy. It's not a therapeutic dosing. Okay. All right. So now that we've got a general idea of the nutritional breakdown, how do you make it? Because it's something that you have to prepare. Now, there are lots of brands out there that have begun selling sea moss in capsules and tablets. However, there are also plenty of ways you can prepare sea moss yourself. Just enjoy it in foods that you're making at home. Okay. So to cook with sea moss, you first need to wash it. And then you want to soak it in cold water for a full day. And you change the water out frequently. You'll know when the sea moss is ready to use when it has doubled in size and it becomes white and gelatinous. Once it's ready, then you can add the sea moss and some of the water to a blender, and then you blend it until it becomes a thick honey-colored liquid. And once you've prepared sea moss, just keep in mind you need to store it in the fridge, and you can store it for up to 2 weeks, but you want to try and use it before then. Alright, let's talk a little bit about the health benefits of sea moss. First, we're going to focus on the digestive tract. Now, sea moss works as a prebiotic, so it allows it to influence the composition of our gut microbiota. And what that means is that the environment in our gut that contains all that friendly bacteria that work very hard at keeping us healthy. So it has a positive influence on that friendly bacteria. And what a prebiotic means is essentially, a prebiotic is like food for your probiotics. So your probiotics are your friendly bacteria, and they need food in order to grow and to flourish. So sea moss is going to help to feed the friendly bacteria and ensure that they are flourishing at healthy numbers. It's like fertilizer for your probiotics. Sea moss is also, as I mentioned before, quite mucilaginous, so it has a sticky texture that helps stool to move through your gastrointestinal tract more easily. There was a study published in the BMC Complementary and Alternative Medicine Journal, and they fed rats Irish sea moss or Irish moss, and they showed significant improvement in their gut microbiota, so their friendly bacteria levels climbed quite nicely. And some researchers suggest that based on these findings, that you can help to improve your gut health and your immune modulation. And as I mentioned before, if you're improving your beneficial bacteria, if you're feeding your good bacteria, then you are going to in turn decrease harmful bacteria as well. So what does immune modulation mean, and how can sea moss have this impact on our immune systems? Well, immune modulation is essentially making sure that our immune system has a balanced response. So modulation, think of a seesaw, balancing, making sure that your immune system is reacting appropriately to pathogenic or bad bacteria or viruses as they enter into our gut, and that also that we don't overreact, say, to food particles and develop food allergies. So if we're having a good modulated or balanced immune response, then we are reducing our risk for things like allergies and food sensitivities, and we're also reducing the risk of certain types of health issues that are related to autoimmune condition. And autoimmune meaning when your immune system is over responsive and your immune system starts attacking your healthy cells. So immune modulation is exceptionally important in general for good health, and sea moss can help with that. Also, if you are using sea moss on a regular basis and helping to improve bowel motility to get your bowel clearing properly, that's going to prevent things like gas and bloating as well. Because if fecal matter is spending too much time in your digestive tract, then gas starts forming and you can have a lot of discomfort, and in some cases it can be quite uncomfortable. So instead of using things like laxatives, you can add sea moss into your diet, and it will help to improve motility, so help basically to keep things moving along nicely, and then you can manage gas and bloating more efficiently. If you also keep your digestive system functioning efficiently, you're going to reduce the risk of inflammation developing in the walls of your bowel. So you're reducing the risk of various types of inflammation-related bowel disease, developing polyps in your colon or anything like that. Having growths in your colon is a bad sign. You want to make sure that you're having good, healthy digestive tract, especially the walls of the digestive tract need to be nice and healthy. And if we can keep that inflammation at bay, then we're going to reduce our risk of various types of health issues that are gut related. Now, one of the other things that is also recommended or we talk about when we're talking about Irish sea moss is also boosting neurological health. Alright, so there have been some studies that suggest that sea moss may have neuroprotective effects because of its ability to alleviate oxidative stress. And for this reason, researchers indicate that this type of sea moss may be promising as an ingredient in certain types of pharmaceutical applications for potential new anti-neurodegenerative drugs for humans. Isn't that interesting? Now, what is it important to know about oxidative stress in the brain? Well, if there's oxidative stress in the brain, that means that your brain cells may age prematurely, so degeneration can happen. Also, messaging between cells in the brain may slow down as we age, so the transmission of messages from one cell to another. Aging in the brain, premature aging of the brain, also means that some of the pathways that your neurons travel to message around in your brain may break down, and that our brain may not be able to make new pathways. So anti-neurodegenerative generally means that we're preserving those pathways. We're trying to make sure that our brain can make new pathways if necessary. We're making sure that our brain is communicating from cell to cell efficiently. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about mood and energy levels. So your emotional health is as important as your physical well-being. And Seamoss contains vitamins and minerals that act as mood boosters, such as magnesium and potassium. It's also rich in vitamin B2, which is known also as the riboflavin, which helps to break down proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And vitamin B9, which is folic acid, which is useful in creating red blood cells. And of course, a little bit of iron too. We need B9 to make sure that we're metabolizing iron properly. If your diet is primarily plant-based, you may want to consider adding Seamoss so that you can get the benefit of some of that plant-based iron, the folic acid, and the B2 added to your meals. We have been exceptionally stressed over this last year or so. So adding in something like Seamoss, having that extra magnesium and potassium, can help to relax the nerves, relax the muscles, and relieve some of that tension that's building in our bodies. If we can relax especially the nerves, it's going to have a positive impact, not just on our mood, but also on our energy levels. With muscle tension comes inflammation. And with inflammation, that can tend to then cause energy drains. So not only can we have a low mood, but then we also have low motivation and we're feeling tired all the time. If you are on a restrictive diet as well, having the benefit of having that additional iron and having that additional B9, which helps with creating red blood cells, is going to improve oxygenation. Red blood cells carry oxygen through our bodies. And if we have good oxygenation, then we're going to have good energy. We're going to feel more mentally alert. If we've got good oxygenation and great magnesium balance, then our muscles and nerves work better or more appropriately, and we have better muscle strength even. All right. So an important component to a healthy energy and healthy mood. Now, one of the other benefits of Seamoss is immune function. So there was a research study published in Applied and Environmental Microbiology that indicated that Seamoss enhances host immunity and suppresses the expression of what's called virulence factors, or molecules that are produced by bacteria, fungi, and viruses. So this study was conducted in a lab, and researchers concluded that its results suggest that components of Seamoss may play a role in health promoting in animals as well as humans. Some early studies suggest that Seamoss can boost the immune system and may even protect the body from contracting salmonella. One study showed that Seamoss can stop the growth of a certain type of pathogenic bacteria called S. enteritis, and that bacteria causes salmonella in humans. So Seamoss not only has this beneficial assistance to the good fun bacteria in our gut that's protecting us, but in of itself it has the possibility of protecting us against things like pathogenic bacteria, like the bacteria that causes salmonella poisoning. So we're feeding our good bacteria, and if we're controlling virulence factors are essentially bacteria and viruses growing and multiplying, right? So if you can control that, then you're helping your immune system to manage an infection or a possible infection more appropriately. So what does that mean? That means that really you want to consider using something like Cmos on a daily basis as a prophylactic, as a preventative measure, because that way you're enhancing your initial immune response when that bad bacteria or virus or parasite enters your system. And if you have enough of this substance in your system, then you can prevent those bacteria and viruses from spreading through your body and causing a full breakout or a full infection, right? So that's what controlling virulence factors means. So this is not something that you take if you're already sick. This is a preventative measure. You really want to start incorporating something like Cmos into your diet. If you want to reap those benefits, you would have to be having it on a fairly regular basis. Okay, let's move on to appetite. So when you combine liquids with Cmos, you get this gel-like texture, this thick and sticky gel. It acts as a soluble fiber, and that helps to keep you full for longer. So adding Cmos to meals may increase satiety. Satiety meaning you feeling satisfied after a meal, and therefore possibly cutting down on the amount of calories you consume. The idea is that Cmos may be working similarly to chia seeds and aloe in this respect. So satiety, as I mentioned, yes, you're feeling satisfied. So if you have Cmos during a meal or before a meal, that's going to help you to start controlling your portion sizes at the meal, all right, so you don't overeat. So especially if you're struggling with controlling how much you're eating in one sitting and you're really overloading your plate, then this can be a really innocuous, safe way to control your portion sizes. All right, and appetite controlling weight loss is important mostly for overeaters, but also for snackers. So if you're using something like Cmos with your meals and you're feeling more satiated or satisfied, that means that your brain is going to tell your pancreas, hey, we're good. We don't need to produce any extra insulin. Things are fine. So insulin management comes into play. So insulin isn't just the hormone that helps us with regulating blood sugar. Insulin can also be a fat storage hormone. So if we're constantly eating, snacking, and just never really giving our pancreas a break, every time we eat something, our pancreas has to produce insulin in order to manage the sugars or the carbohydrates as they come through our digestive system. If you don't give your pancreas a break, you're going to continually have too much insulin in your system. And then what insulin will start doing is it'll start storing fat. So this is why we need to try and reduce how many snacks we have in between our meals. In fact, we want to try and reduce snacking altogether, especially if you have a high risk for diabetes. So consider that Cmos can be used to reduce your risk of diabetes, to manage your appetite so that you don't overeat, and to control snacking in between your meals. So not just that you're eating too much or too often, but then you're also controlling how much fat you're storing. So as part of a weight loss program, if you're doing vigorous activity and you're exercising and you're using up extra calories because of all of this physical activity, and you're reducing the amount of fat that you're storing, then you're going to see progress, and faster progress when it comes to weight loss. So that's some wonderful news. Okay, the last little bit I wanted to talk to you about Cmos is skin health. So Cmos is used in skincare products because of its antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties. It's also rich in nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin A, and magnesium. Now, using Cmos topically may help to hydrate and soothe your skin while fighting damage and infections. Internally, if you're taking Cmos orally and you're using it as part of your diet, if you are controlling microbes or bacteria, then it is very helpful for controlling certain types of acne. Lots of acne is caused by bacterial infection on the surface of the skin. if you can control the bacteria, you can prevent the spread of the acne across the surface of your skin. And you can actually use Seamoss as a face mask as well as taking it orally, especially if you're acne prone. And again, topically as an anti-inflammatory, it'll help to get rid of some of that redness on the surface of your skin. But if you're controlling inflammation on the surface of your skin, you're also helping skin to repair properly. So if you're breaking out often, it's going to reduce the risk of scarring or skin discoloration. And inflammation is aging. So if you want to keep your skin nice and healthy and plump, you also want to control inflammation, because that can prevent the breakdown of collagen, so the loss of elasticity in your skin. Now, of course, if you're taking Seamoss orally and you're talking about inflammation management, that's going to benefit not just one part of your body, but all the skin, your whole body, not just your face. So inflammation management is very important for maintaining healthy skin throughout your body. If you have skin conditions like psoriasis or eczema, then inflammation control is also very important, because it prevents the spread of psoriasis and eczema. Now, because Seamoss is also rich in omega-3 fatty acids, this is something exceptionally important for skin health. So your skin cell membranes are made up of fats, good fats, omega-3s and omega-6s. And if we can incorporate a source of omega-3 into our diet on a regular basis, we're going to keep those skin cells nice, those membranes, the outer wall of your skin cell, nice and elastic. And why is that important? Well, elasticity is important because nutrients can cross through the skin membrane into the nucleus of the cell. So that keeps the skin cells healthy, having enough good fat in your diet. So eating omega-3s from things like Seamoss are not going to make you break out. This is the good fat. This is the stuff that helps to keep your skin healthy and keeps the nutrients flowing into the nucleus or into the center of the cell and feeding the base of the cell. And of course, we also do know that omega-3 is again an anti-inflammatory. Vitamin A, which is again naturally occurring in Seamoss, is very important for repairing sun damage, so sunspots or premature aging or wrinkling of the skin. There are topical retinol A products out there from cosmetic companies. There are natural products as well. But if you're ingesting a supplement that has a good amount of naturally occurring vitamin A, then it is going to provide you with some protection against sun damage, just like internal sunblock. But it's also going to help to repair some of the damage you've already created by, forgetting to wear your sunblock and not protecting your skin properly during the changes in the season. So vitamin A is quite important, and we know that vitamin A is very important for managing acne. Right, so when we're applying topically, it helps with managing acne. But we also know that when we apply vitamin A topically, in the case, as I said, you can do the mask with the Seamoss, then it also has anti-aging properties. They discovered that using retinol A topically on the skin helped with acne breakouts, but then they found out that also it helped with getting rid of some fine lines too. So it even helps a little bit with wrinkles. Okay, so antimicrobial. And lastly, also sugar management in skin cell membranes. If you're regulating the sugars in the wall of the cell, because sugars act as fuel and they're important, but if there's an imbalance of sugars in the wall of the skin cells, then that is also one of the contributing factors to having breakouts or having acne prone skin. And then again, if there's an imbalance in those sugars in the surface of the cell, then that also fuels premature aging of your skin cells. And then a loss of collagen production and a loss of elasticity goes along with it. Alright, so loads of wonderful benefits topically as well as taking Seamoss internally for your skin health. Now, I must end this with a little bit of a warning. So Seamoss is a source of iodine, which is something that you can eat too much of. Now, iodine is very important because it keeps your thyroid gland healthy, and your thyroid gland is the gland that controls your metabolism. It's like the thermostat in your body, so it regulates your body temperature. It's important for various other repair functions. It's important for your bone density, etc. However, if you have too much iron in your iodine iodine in your diet, it can lead to a goiter, which is an enlarged thyroid gland. And the only way to really resolve a goiter in some cases is to actually have to have surgery. So, to prevent this from happening, be sure to stick to 1 serving of Cmos per day if you're taking it orally. 1 serving meaning 2 tablespoons. Alright? And just keep in mind, all the benefits that I've been talking about during this broadcast happen over time, cumulatively. So, more is not better. Right, so keep it to 2 tablespoons. It's the long haul. It's the long-term commitment. If you're having Cmos on a regular basis, you're going to reap all those wonderful benefits, and taking more isn't going to make it happen any faster. All right, so 2 tablespoons. Each tablespoon is 15 grams. 2 tablespoons, about 30 grams. Well, that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'll be happy to respond in further detail. Keep in mind that you can also find me on my YouTube channel, Wellness with Wisdom, or on Instagram at wellness_with_wisdom. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to have a listen to this broadcast. Remember that you are the sum of your experiences, both good and bad. Remember that you are fully capable of moving forward. And remember that you can start over.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider clicking the like button, subscribe, and yes, hit that notification bell so you'll know when next I post new videos. Have a wonderful day and keep well.